Welcome back to NYSE TV Live. Well, today, professional services firm KPMG is holding its IPO boot camp right here at the stock exchange. And the event offers insights into the IPO process, capital markets trends, and alternative exit strategies. Well, KPMG says it's going to be helping companies understand the steps and challenges that come with going public, conducting workshops to educate participants, and holding one-on-one consultations to address specific questions. Well, joining me now with more, Shari Major. She's KPMG's U.S. Capital Markets Readiness Leader, taking a dive into today's event. Shari, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here at the Stock Exchange today. What is KPMG's role in this IPO bootcamp?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're the headline sponsor of the event and partnering very closely with the New York Stock Exchange to hold this event at such an iconic venue. And then we've brought together a variety of experts from across the ecosystem. So we have JP with us, Cooley, Workiva, and of course a number of KPMG advisors as well. And really just with the goal of sharing our expert advice and guidance to the participants of the event today, and really educating them on the process of thinking about going public, what it takes to get ready, what it actually means to go through the listing process, and then really life begins as a public company from that point forward.
And I love that this is coming just after a big success case here at the Stock Exchange. Of course, Circle listing late last week, triple-digit pop, of course,
Yes.
on the first 2 days of trade. So pretty impressive. What is this day going to entail?
So we have a number of sessions scheduled where we'll have some presentations. So for example, JP Morgan will tell us a little bit about what we're seeing in the market these days, and certainly last week's events are a nice shining spot on hopefully what we can expect. And then we have a few different panel discussions where we have a number of the advisors sharing their insights around the pre-IPO process, what it takes to actually go through the IPO, and then life as a public company. And it also gives participants a chance to ask questions, network with their peers, and really get some one-on-one time with the advisors.
Yeah, I'm sure that one-on-one time, very coveted indeed. What do you hope attendees take away from today?
Well, I hope that they, learn about the process. If they've, never been through it before, don't really know what to expect. It's sort of a first taste of that. And really helping them understand where they're going to need to spend their efforts and how to prioritize, various aspects of the process. I think it helps them make decisions around when to start, what that means, how long the journey might be, and really should give them, I think, the confidence to embark on the process and think about how they, whatever their role is, can help sort of drive their organization's readiness.
Yeah, I think that's a great insight. So I'm curious in terms of how KPMG comes in and helps companies throughout this life cycle. I know you've talked about how we can get to that culmination point in IPO here, for instance, at the stock exchange, but what is the life cycle like?
Well, so we would typically start working with a company, say 2 years before an IPO, and we bring the breadth of KPMG's expertise, whether it's around audit, tax, or advisory, and really help a company think about assessing, their current state and what they need to do to be ready to be a public company. And for some, they're just embarking on the journey. Others have maybe already been focused on getting ready. And so that journey is very different for every company, but it's really helping them start to put in place the rigor that it will take to operate as a public company. We always say the more you're operating as a public company while you're private, the better the transition will be when they actually do go.
Yeah, and any more expectations, Shari, that you can share with us today here at the exchange?
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to some robust dialogue.
Yeah.
I know we've all been very focused on the market. This year we've had some ups and downs compared to what everyone was expecting, but I think we're seeing some shining green shoots with recent activity and some optimism about what's to come in the third quarter and through the rest of the year. And so hearing insights from the various advisors who operate in this space, as well as getting the questions from the participants in the room to hear what's on their mind, what do they want to know, and how can we be most helpful to them.
Comes, of course, as the S&P 500 is just about 2% from a record high. So I'm sure market conditions are something that your clients and those that you work with think about as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think everyone's watching on a very a daily basis. And certainly, what we've seen recently, I think gives us all, hope that we're going to have a very strong year.
Yeah, amazing. Shari Major, she's KPMG's U.S. Capital Markets Readiness leader here at the Stock Exchange today, of course, for the annual IPO Boot Camp that the Stock Exchange is happy to host and be a part of. Shari, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.